We got Dr. J on the line now from NASA. Was talking about education and kids to stay in school. Go ahead. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Mr. Forsythe, and good morning to all the beautiful people in Eleuthera, and good morning to all the school kids that are already in school and should be in school right now. If they ain't, then you gotta send that hooky officer after them. I'm doing great, thank God, all is well. How things with you?
Oh, everything is all right, and that's a good thing you're doing there. They're trying to encourage the kids to stay in school. Because as I mentioned to you before, I had that show and I talked to the kids, and he's trying to generate the same thing. Because education is paramount if you want to get anywhere in this world. How it seems to be going, how expensive things is, and to get a decent job, you got to have a good education.
Oh, most definitely, and I would encourage, all those persons who enjoyed the show when you were doing the show and would like to see it back. Hey, you know, put your money where your mouth is and bring it back on there and inspire those kids because the future, it's getting rougher, it's getting tougher, and education most definitely is the key to success. Without a proper education, you just paralyzed into doing things to be able to advance your life. If you don't have a good education, that means that you can't open a small business, you can't open a medium or large size business, get a job. You're gonna have to resort to stealing, prostitution, and all kind of illegal things that's going to land you right into jail.
Of course. But talking about that show again, we've been trying for years. These amazing things. We can't get one company, just one company, and all these companies make no mistake, make plenty money. We patronize the businesses straight through since we've been here on Spanish Wells and anywhere else. And if we go somewhere else, we're going to patronize them as well. But not one would come forth a couple of cents and sponsor that show. Would you believe that?
Well, I would encourage those companies, if anybody from those companies are listening, hey, it's in your best interest as well to invest into the young people because if you don't invest into them now, God forbid, they can be your future criminals, they can be your future terrorists, they can be your future menace. So it's better that you support, a person like Mr. Forsythe who's doing an awesome job, and all those and who trying to uplift the young people. It's always a good thing to invest into the young people because they're gonna make the country better. That's what we want.
Well, it's the future. I mean, we're all in this world to survive and live the best way we can and abide with the Lord. And there's certain things we need to really survive and make it. We don't take from one another, we should give to one another. And this is the problem now. This show the show I've been doing, been off there for a couple of years, it should have been back on a long time ago. But as I mentioned, not one will say, hey, let me sponsor that and keep the kids on there so the kids, we can encourage them kids to stay with the education thing. Not one. And it's a crying shame why we got to be this way about everything. Because they are the future, of course. We all getting older, but we all doing our thing. And we're supposed to be doing it the correct way. We want to encourage them to do that and stay with the education thing. And every little encouragement counts.
Yes, sir.
Like what you're doing.
Most definitely. Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to say I hope that this is a spark and a renewal that persons may be inspired and touched to say, you know what, let me do my part because as we can see, our country is on a downward spiral, especially here in Nassau. This is where the hub of things is going on, and eventually it's going to spread all over the Bahamas. So if we want to prevent the downfall of this country, we all got to play our part.
Of course. But it's not happening in many aspects of everything. You know what I mean? If I go up the road and buy something, I patronize that company or a food store anywhere. I patronize them, right? So why can't they patronize me? Isn't that the way it should be?
Well, that's the way it should be.
But they don't. They don't. Absolutely don't. But they'll take your money all day long. It's an amazing thing because, 'cause these companies here are big, they do well, and they should come forward and say, what's a couple of dollars to try to help the kids for a little education. This man doing a terrific job, and the other sponsor pulled out. So why don't I step in there and with my company and help out? You know what I mean? But not one. We ask, no. Not one will come forward and do it. I think it's a crying shame. Really shame. And I'm glad you called this morning because I wanted to mention it on the air so they can actually hear me because they're tuned in. Okay?
Well, I encourage you. I encourage all of you people that are listening. Do your part. Support the young people. Help them so that they can become the next future leaders of this country. We need better for our country. And the most practical thing that you can do is to invest your money into the future growth and development of our young people. And we definitely know that comes through education. And so that's the main reason why I wrote the song, because it's important that the young people understand the value of good education. There are children around the world that don't have what we have in this country, free education. Man, they would die for that. And I want to encourage the parents, to play a more active role in the lives of their children and ensuring that they do their schoolwork. They're paying attention. You have to follow up with them, find out what they've been doing in school. I know a lot of parents, when they go to work and they come home, they're tired and, they just don't want to be bothered. But if you could, if you as a parent, you can invest at least 10 minutes of your evening on your child to find out how their day was, what they did at school, and you do that every day of the week, you'll find out that you will gain the energy and strength and motivation to put more time into it. And you're assisting your child like that. Don't just send them to school and think that they're learning and they're doing well. That's not the case all the time.
Well, it's like the fellow go to church. He think if he walk in the door, sit down, tell the service door and walk out, everything fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
I get my part. You just sit down, let the preacher over, you walk out, go home, bam, that's the end of that. We've been working with the schools. Every year we work with the schools, and now the school is starting again. We will start working with them again. We do all kind of things with the kids. They come in and they do different aspects in the studio, and all kind of things. We work with all the teachers, the head teacher, everything, and they can tell you that. And we work well with them and doing recordings for them, different things, the events they having, and even do some live stuff. Like we do that all the time. There's no charge for this. And what I'll do later on today, I'll let Jane email you how you can go on Facebook and see the kids in the studio. Me and the kids took pictures in the studio, and you can see that on Facebook. So you can check that out sometime when you're home or whatever. But we've been working with the education thing a long time, and for you to come forward like this song, it only shows that you're trying to play your part in this role and doing these things. If we can steer these kids in the right direction, you know what I mean? They'll slow down everything that's happening in every kind of way. But it takes time and a lot of work. But if everybody spend a little time, it ain't such a big deal.
Yeah.
We do our part here, Splash. Believe me, I can tell you that. And we want to do more.
Thank you.
But I can't spend 2 or 3 hours in the studio for nothing because it takes money to run this stuff.
Yep, most definitely.
So you got to have a little sponsor.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, you know what? I wanna extend thanks to the person who was the inspiration behind the song. Is the gentleman by the name of Angelo Strawn. He works at the Ministry of Education in the school attendance unit. He invited me to an event that they were doing at two of the schools here in Nassau, and I didn't have any song regarding education or anything like that to present to them. And I wanted to make sure that I was in line with what they were dealing with. So I didn't want to bring any other song that was not related to their school program. And so I thought about what I'm going to write. I went ahead and I wrote the song, but it was in reggae first, and I converted it into Junkanoo, and that's how the song "Stay in School" came about. It wasn't an initial thought that I had to do something of school nature, but that's the history of the formation of "Stay in School," and I'm grateful to Mr. Strawn for the invitation to invite me to speak to the school kids, and it's an awesome thing to support young people, because young people need guidance. They need help. I know, because when I was young, besides my parents taking care of me, nurturing for me, and providing for me, there wasn't a whole lot much help around. Like in the community, you have persons who would inspire you or encourage you or motivate you or point out to you qualities that you have about you. And it wasn't like that. And that's what we need more of. We need more persons who are experienced, who are able to see talent and to lift up kids and show them the good things about them so that they can feel good about themselves and want to excel and succeed, as opposed to, like we say, putting out on them. Because I remember when I was younger, I wasn't the best kid, but I wasn't the worst. And I remember one of my neighbors saying to me that, when I grow up, I'm going to be an old thief. It was because of me misbehaving myself. But then there were still little good qualities about me. But they never once said, hey, you are good at this, and I like this about you, I like that about you. But they always point the negative out. So we have to turn that around as people in the community, as adults, and as peers of children. Turn around, quit highlighting the negative side about people, even though we have to address problems, but try and highlight more positive and encourage people to do better. And that's what we want to do for the school kids.
Well, if you listen to a lot of these talk shows, it's all on the negative side, and there ain't really much positive. I know because we hear one, and we get all kind of calls with, this ain't right, that ain't right, this ain't. But there ain't one, I hardly hear one that there's a, oh yeah, man, that's happening, and boy, so glad that every now and then you get one. it ain't, because it don't sound encouraging. You know what I mean? And like you're saying there, and if we keep it a negative thing, where you going with this? Every child that's growing up will have some mischievous thing on their journey growing up. All right? I used to keep cigarettes. I called it T&A, so he knew he was doing it. From Mr. Burris' food store around the corner of Market Street by our neighborhood. And he knew he was doing it. We'd go around the corner choking on it and going, say, man, I don't want this no more. This bad. But he knew he was doing it. And he was just laughing it off because it wasn't a big deal. But everybody gets in a little mischievous thing. It's not a serious thing. But that's all in growing up. But when you talk about a lot heavier stuff, well, then that's when you really need to start addressing that issue. But I don't think these younger ones in school would go that heavy. Of course, some things happening now, so and I think they're addressing that now, But I think it's kind of like trying to follow the trend of the United States. And we need more, like a guy said the other day, look at what we are doing instead of reflection on something else, you know what I mean? But I don't know. We have, the whole country got problems. We got a lot of things to address, and it's a long road to go. And if we don't begin with the children, like you say, where we going? We don't know. We're going to run up on a big dead end.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, that's good what you're doing. I know I spent, as I mentioned before, I spent a couple of years with that spelling bee show. It made me feel good to talk to the kids for that half an hour. We call it break time. And I did tell the kids that I said, kids, I'm going to bring in a teacher to give you all these words to spell. And not to down the teacher now, like you say, but they say, well, if you do that, we ain't going to call in no more. It was a little punch for me,
Yeah.
They didn't like the way I was doing it. Let the teachers stay in the class, but they didn't like the way I was doing the show, and made me feel a little good, because I really spoke to them in a serious kind of way, But it's a serious, fun type of thing, and they enjoyed it, because I had little jokes in there, you know what I mean, like, to make them feel like, hey, he ain't coming down on us, he rolling with us, but he wants us to be what we can be.
Right.
So that's good, man. How is it in Nassau? Still hectic, eh?
Yeah, still hectic. We have a lot of work to do here. Issues all over the place.
That's right. I agree. Well, keep punching out them songs, and we'll keep it rolling. As soon as we stop talking, I'll play the song again for the kids. And we play it throughout the day and continue on. We'll put it in the regular run.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Forsythe. I just want to encourage the parents to please play a more active role in your kids' life. In the earlier part of August, they released the school exam results, and it was it was it wasn't good because they said that the G level, a lot of kids they got G's, which is the lowest, and there was a marginal rise above the G level. So that goes to show that our educational system needs a whole lot of work done. We need a whole lot of work done with the kids. Parents who know that their children are not performing well academically, you need to invest more into those children. And if it seems as if they're still having a problem, you need to look at your child and see what your child is good at. If your child is good with his or her hands, you need to invest in that area so that they can be stronger in that area. We all have strong points. We all have weak points. So if you know that your child has a weak point in learning certain things, but they have a strong point in other things, you need to invest into that strong point. And it goes to say a lot to our government that they need to be able to pay more attention to these things as well and have something developed for our children like that instead of keeping them in the regular school system and struggling along. We need to have special schools for these kids so that they can develop in other areas that they're talented in. I just want to encourage the parents to play a more active role in your kids' life. All right?
Yeah, well, if you encourage certain things, encourage children. Like when I had the thing, they used to get like $5 for spelling the word, right? But they had to really get in and spell that word.
Mm-hmm.
Not only the $5, but it made them feel good to get the $5. But they had to spell the word. So spelling the word means they knew how to spell it.
Right.
You see, so that if I believe we can come up with different things to encourage them, like to offer them, say, listen, now if you can pull this off, now this is what's happen. And it's something good. And then they could get down to it and work on it. We only can find something like that, but there's a lot of kids to find it for.
Yeah, well, I'm challenging my niece to give her $500 at the end of the school term if she maintain a 3-point or get more than that. So I'm going to see what happens.
Well, she can do that. Yeah, someone tell me that. I can work on that because all I can see is that 500 now, and I can work hard. I can get that.
All right.
See, that's the kind of thing, but everybody can't do that. And, but that's good encouragement, man. Okay, well, I know you got to go to work, and good to hear from you.
Likewise.
Give us a call anytime, man. You got a friend, yeah?
All right. God bless and keep it safe.
Yeah, I'll email you the info. How to look at them on Facebook, okay, in the studio.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Blessed day. Thank you.